Well, we've all seen it here in the Las Vegas Valley. Real estate investors sweeping up properties while the average Joe may have less of a chance.
This week, 8 News Now investigator Vanessa Murphy digging right into housing issues. Tonight, she uncovers a tense battle at one West Side property.
I'm so stressed out.
Robert Rice says he used his life savings to buy this studio on the Las Vegas West Side in 2019. But shortly after, a majority owner here at Bonanza Park was pressuring him to sell.
He kept coming to my door.
Rice, we're being bullied, is not alone.
It's been pure hell since the day I met this guy.
He said, well, I will kick your ass. And I told him to bring it on. Yeah. And he said that I was an old man. Is when I told him to bring it on. So, shoot, I may get beat down, but I'm not going to walk away.
These are the holdouts.
I don't know what to do. That's why I'm glad you're here to maybe give us some light.
They are the few owners left here who refuse to sell their condos.
They're kind of stuck in the past. They're stuck. And now they're a little jealous and a little afraid.
To the man who's trying to convert this to an apartment complex.
Have you ever made a threat to physically harm any residents here?
Absolutely not. That's ridiculous.
Daniel Wright says he and his companies own most of the 132 units here.
What's your plan now?
The plan is to take over the whole complex. Everybody's known that plan here. They've known about me for years. They've known about the plan for years. This is not a secret.
How is that plan going?
Same. I mean, we're just plugging along. I mean, I started with 1 unit. Now we're over 100. We have about 5 or 6 owner-occupieds left.
They are outnumbered and outvoted, so they don't have much of a say about homeowners association dollars. And when a fire tore through one of the buildings here in 2021 and there was an issue with insurance, they were expected to pay hefty assessments. Rice says he paid $9,000.
There is a claim that you did not have that building insured properly when there was a fire. Is that true?
It's partly true. It was insured properly. There was a clause in there that covered a full rebuild cost. The insurance company decided to deny that part of the claim and only paid out about half of that money. So we are in litigation with that insurance company, the former community manager, and the insurance broker over this.
Do you remember ballpark what was in HOA reserves when you started buying properties and what's in there now?
Ballpark, I'd say around 150,000. And because of the fire depleted all those funds, we had to raise a special assessment.
How many units are in that building?
30 units.
How many do you own out of the 30?
Now is different than when it happened. So now we own 29 out of 30. When it happened, it was like 24 out of 30.
So still the majority, and they still had to pay those hefty assessments.
Yeah, it's part of the community property.
Community property, not for long, as Wright works to dissolve the HOA entirely.
Everything was voted on through the HOA. Everything was voted on through the ownership. That's where we're at this point.
The votes through the ownership are mostly you, though.
Yeah. It's good to have a lot of votes.
Is that fair?
How is it not fair? Each unit gets a vote. If owners wanted to buy more units, they could buy more units.
The state doesn't dictate how many votes you get per unit.
Sonia Merriweather is the ombudsman for common interest communities in Nevada. Her office with the real estate division provides guidance and is supposed to be the watchdog for HOAs.
How does the average homeowner who is not a giant investor get protections when they're part of an HOA?
Well, just by ownership of a house, you have the governing documents that give you some protection, but it also gives you some obligations also.
Obligations to know those documents well. If rules aren't in place with the HOA to prevent a majority owner from taking over, like here in Bonanza Park, what Daniel Wright is doing, sweeping the votes and making changes, appears to be in accordance with state law. With 80% of the votes, a common interest community can be terminated.
I guess if you're the little guy who can't afford to buy over 100 units, how do you have a chance?
They chose to live in this community.
I'm surprised you did the interview. I thought you were going to say no.
Oh, I have nothing to hide down here. Some people don't like the big landlord or whatever like that, but I have a business plan. I'm trying to improve myself.
If you treated them fairly, though, why would they say you made threats to physically harm them? Why would they say you're bullying them?
I have no idea. I can see where they might feel pushed around because the overwhelming vote, their vote doesn't count for much in this complex. But that's what an HOA is there for, is to protect. There's certain rules and regulations. And sometimes those are in favor of the little guy. Sometimes they're in favor of the big guy. And if they don't like the rules, it's a free country. They can move somewhere else. They could buy more units. They could band together. They could do a lot of things.
So what they're doing is sharing their story.
We only have one unit, but we're going to speak loud as we can with our one unit.
While Wright says he's continuing to make improvements to a property he believes will eventually be all his. Vanessa Murphy, 8 News Now.
What they are also disagreeing about there is the amount that Wright is offering to purchase the remaining units. While he says it's fair market value, remaining owners there insist it is not enough. Tomorrow, Vanessa Murphy continues our focus on housing issues throughout the valley.